Over the past year, I've did a bit research कि अगर मेरे पास कोई मैसेज आता है या कोई टेक्स्ट आता है या कोई कॉल आती है तो how many times I've said कि भाई टाइम नहीं है और बिजी है, and if you do that research for yourself तो you will realize कि 9 out of 10 times you're actually relying on बस टाइम ही नहीं है और मैं बहुत बिजी हूँ. तो that got me thinking कि how do I optimize my routine. फिर मैंने सोचा कि how do I come out of this cycle, and I started searching to know how to get more out of your day or what habits to sort of install in your day that you can get more time. उसके साथ मैंने क्या किया, I started reading about books, productivity, self-awareness, and I've got 15 years of corporate experience. I kind of suddenly realized कि in sub scenarios के अंदर there's a very structured way to approach things. There's a very clean and precise way to document your life. और कोई भी personal task होगा तो उसको very structured way के अंदर step by step बताया हुआ है कि how do you achieve something. That got me thinking कि this is exactly how we do it in corporate life, जिसको हम बोलते हैं project management. And as boring as it sounds, I realized कि we need project management in our personal life. और छोटे-छोटे tasks जो भी हम करते हैं, if we manage them in a way that someone is paying you to manage them, then you come up with a very different mindset. Then you start realizing कि okay, you have a different set of goals and how do you achieve them in personal life. So after reading all the books that I could find, and I can list everything in the bottom of the video, I kind of realized there's a 3-step principle. So the step 1 is understanding where you are and know where you stand. You cannot move forward unless you really understand कि मेरी current position क्या है and how do I move forward from that. Self-awareness is the concept behind. Then is defining your direction. Once you understand, you're aware of yourself, you understand, okay, what's my goal, where do I need to, the direction of travel would be. For example, I need to do 30 minutes of exercise of some kind in the day. From a finance perspective, I need to save X amount of money. तो वहाँ पे आता है basically your goal. What do you really want to achieve? So you need to ask yourself difficult questions and then really precisely define where you want to go. अगर आप define नहीं करोगे, you'll just again be in a limbo. So first you've understood your reality, yourself away. Then the next is you understand where you want to go. The third is how do you go there. So you need to build your system around it. And जितनी भी मैंने किताबें पढ़ी हैं and ChatGPT भी कर लो जाके to validate that every book had a precise system that worked for the author. Important चीज़ क्या है इसके अंदर कि you need to redefine what would be my system and how would I achieve that. And what I did was I created a simple 3-step model within the principle 3. So the first is time audit. Understand where your time is spent in the entire day. So take a sheet of paper and start writing whenever you wake up in the morning. So 7, 6, whatever works for you. और हर 30 minutes के interval में just write what you are doing. So brushing, getting ready for the office, breakfast, driving to the office. और फिर उसके अंदर वहाँ पे लिखोगे ऑफिस के अंदर जितना भी आपने काम किया, whatever you can block it up as well. So for example 9 to 1 you did office stuff, फिर break ली, then take the rest of the afternoon, and then उसके बाद फिर आता है आफ्टर वर्क क्या किया आपने स्पेसिफिकली, कितना टाइम अपने फैमिली को दिया, टीवी देखा, नेटफ्लिक्स देखा, whatever you did, but be very precise about it because that is the data that you're gathering from your personal life and that will be later on optimized. Then you establish basically a plan of action. So for example the objectives or the roles or the direction basically which you identified in the second principle, then you write down कि भाई अच्छा ये principle अगर मुझे achieve करना है then how would I achieve that principle, and that brings concept of habit creation. Take an example of someone needs to go to gym और उसको 30 minutes की physical activity करनी है for example. What that means now is कि he needs to understand like किस type की activity करनी है, what type of gear you need for it. For example कपड़े चाहिए, joggers, whatever the stuff you guys need, but plan it very precisely कि यहाँ पे रखे हुए मैंने अपने घर के अंदर, this is where the location is, this is where I need to go. Then you identify कि किधर किस specific time के ऊपर you करना है. For example you have your gym clothes in your car. The moment you get out of the office you immediately go to the gym, do 30 minutes or 40 minutes whatever, and then you come out of it. So that is the precise moment कि आपने identify कर लिया कि कहाँ करना है, कब करना है, what do you need to do that activity. So that is the amount of detail you need of planning of how do you really achieve that objective that you were trying to do. Then the step 3 comes a bit of an accountability process. You won't basically slack for more than 2 days. उसके अंदर होता ये है कि you start by any objective, anything that you want to install in yourself, it takes a certain amount of time to become a habit. और हैबिट जब एक बार बन जाती है तो उसको फिर छोड़ा मुश्किल से जाता है. एग्जाम्पल 2 दिन लगातार, इससे ज़्यादा you don't need to have to slack. So for example on Monday you went to gym, Tuesday you did not go, you have another day Wednesday and you have to be there on Thursday. You cannot basically be out of that mode for more than 2 days. So that is an accountability process or a fail-safe method. इससे basically slowly and gradually you'll start building that discipline, and then once you establish that, sit with yourself on the weekend, अपना data gather करो. For example you said that you would do whatever you wanted to do. For example in this case gym, how many days did you actually go to gym and what really happened जिसकी वजह से you weren't able to go to the gym. Then you reflect on, so you refine, you repeat and you lock in. ये concept क्या है basically कि first you refine your plan again कि आपके पास data है for that week, and again same methodology of a project management in a corporate environment के you get the data, you understand where the shortcomings were and then you optimize that ताकि हम ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को जल्दी अचीव कर सकें एंड यू रिकैलिब्रेट योर पोजीशन. इसी तरीके से यू नीड टू डू द सेम थिंग फॉर योरसेल्फ, refine your process and then repeat it to the following week, and then once you've done that you again identify, okay, what were the shortcomings, what do I need to do. For example, I did not had something to eat before going to the gym, that could be a problem because I don't have enough energy कि मैं जिम में क्या करूँगा. तो उसके लिए you have some snacks or something being pre-prepared when you want to go. So the chances of you going to the gym because of all of these happening gets exponentially high क्योंकि you have taken all the steps. You have make sure that there's nothing in your mind that can stop you from not going there. Because mind का भी एक process होता है and it avoids change. It does not want to do something new and always wants to be in its comfort zone. That is something that you need to lock into yourself. How do I take away all those preconceived notions in my mind कि मुझे ये नहीं करना है and I need to be in my comfort zone. तो उससे बाहर आना है. And then on the weekend you sit with yourself, you understand during the week क्या हुआ है, you refine your process and then you lock it for the following week. Slowly and gradually you realize after 3 to 4 weeks or 5th week you start to develop a habit, and some of the stuff that you're doing intentionally to do the gym, for example pre-gym activities, that will become your autopilot activities. But once you get into the autopilot for your whatever the activity that you wanted to do, uske baad you will slowly get out of this mindset of building systems, defining directions and clear objective of self-awareness of where you are. That basically you have identified a structure, a map of how you achieve that. Whatever the objective would be, you're basically a step closer in terms of achieving that rather than few weeks ago where you had no idea how to. So that mental fog is slowly starts to clear. So in short, basically you plan, you execute, you review and then you improve. So that is the kind of broader crux of this entire video. You need to understand how you're spending your time and you need to be clear where you want to be. When you understand these pockets of spaces that you have and you can optimize those, that way you can get more out of your time, then eventually achieve the objectives that you were expecting to achieve. And I hope this would be some help.